Welcome to church, everybody.
Good morning.
We've got a few people missing this morning because I think COVID's doing the rounds again, which is great. So hopefully everyone that's here is all healthy and we're feeling all right. I think Pete's going to come up and share some notices for us. Our big notice is we've got Cafe Church starting the first Sunday of the month. So on Sunday the 5th of February, isn't it?
5th of February
At 4:30.
4:30, we're doing Cafe Church Valentine. First Valentine's Day. So we're going to be talking about the love of Jesus and how people can share love in their family with their family and their friends and stuff like that.
So we would just really covet your prayers for that between 4:30 and 6 o'clock on that Sunday to be praying for a fruitful mission. We've had quite a few families that have come along that aren't Christians, and we're happy that some of them have returned the second time that we did Cafe Church, and we're expecting them back again on Sunday the 5th.
Yeah, it's great to see everybody. Welcome. Why don't you just take a moment just to wave kind of enthusiastically at somebody next to you. And then we may do a bit more of a greet later when more people have potentially made us. As we say, we know quite a few people that do have COVID, as Sarah's already said. It's frustrating, isn't it, to feel that 3 years in, that's still affecting us as it is, and we need to continue, I think, to pray into that situation for our nation, and of course for the rest of the world as well. So yeah, let's quickly look at some of the notices. Just want to particularly highlight that we are staying behind today to eat lunch together. If you're able to stay with us. Many of I'm sure have brought and shared food. If you haven't done that, I don't want you to feel in any way embarrassed about that, and I want to invite you to stay and eat with us anyway, because we will sort something out. I agree, and it will be really great. It's great to eat together. It's what families do. And if you can stay behind today after church and share lunch with us, that would be absolutely fantastic. I want to just remind the trustees we have a meeting on Tuesday evening here at 7:30, and I want to say that our daytime home group is on again on Friday. All of this stuff is in the notices. You don't really need me to say it. Can I just say though that a couple of things it would be good for you to do if you haven't already and you want to. We have our pledge of consecration that we've invited people at the start of the new year to consecrate themselves again to God afresh, and that's at the back. If you would like to sign that and be a part of that, that's featured very much with our recent ministry, and also it is time to update contact and consent information. So we have forms for people to fill in and put their details on. Please do it even if you filled in a form before, because these forms are slightly different from before, and we have some copies of that, hard copies of that in the foyer. If you can grab one of those and fill it in before you go, if you haven't done so already, that would be absolutely fantastic. Next Sunday we have a welcome tea for new people at 4 o'clock. So if you're relatively new in the church and you want to find out some more information, or actually if you just fancy coming along, because we've never done anything like that before, come along anyway. It'll be great to see you, and we'll have a good time together. And the rest of it you can read for yourself on the notice sheet. So I'm going to hand back.
Marvellous. Is anyone feeling like this new year they need to do a little bit more exercise to burn off some of the calories that they ate over Christmas? Anyone? Yeah, great. You're going to love this one then. We're gonna do our physical exercise and our spiritual exercise at one time. The bridge bit to this song says that you need to stand up, You need to make sure you've got a bit of room. If you're by a wall, I would suggest you get a little bit away from the wall so you don't hit the wall. We're going to go full out workout. And it says if you're going to the left, then you're going to the left. And if you're going to the right, then you're going to the right. Now, women, you don't have to jump as high as the men for this if you've already had birth. Okay, it says jump, 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 jump in the river. So I'm doing some knees bending, so otherwise it could be messy.
We try that then.
Yeah, we'll try that together. Are we ready?
If he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we go to the right. We're gonna jump, 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 jump in the river. Jump, 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 jump in the river. If he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we go to the right. We're gonna dance, 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 dance in the river. And then we shout, don't we?
Yes, we'll do it one more time.
Go to the left, then we go to the left, and if we go to the right, then we go to the right. We gotta shout, 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 shout in the river. Shout, 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 shout in the river.
I think you've got that. You've got that. You'll be pleased to know it only happens a couple of times in the song, so you can get your breath back to the rest of it. And the reason that we really like this song is that when we were in the prayer meeting, Laura had a picture for our church of God inviting us to go deep into the water with him and to be like a deep sea diver and explore the hidden depths of the love of God. And so that's why we're singing this song this morning, just as much as it's fun for the kids too. And Ben's going to sing this morning, aren't you, for it? You ready?
I got a river. Where's one? I got a river, living water, fountain that never will run dry. It's an open heaven, we're releasing, we will never be denied. Stirring up deep, deep wells, stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna dance in the river, dance in the river. We're stirring up deep, deep wells, we're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna jump in the river, jump in the river. Deep cries out to deep cries out to cries out to deep, cries out to we cry out to, we cry out to Jesus. Deep cries out to deep, cries out to deep, cries out to deep, cries out to we cry out to, we cry out to Jesus. We're falling into deeper waters. Jump, 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 jump in the river. Jump, 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 everybody. If we go to the left, then we go to the left. If we go to the right, then we go to the right. We gotta dance, 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 dance in the river. Dance, 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 everybody. If we go to the left, then we go to the left. If we go to the right, then we go to the right. We gotta shout, 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 shout in the river. Shout, shout. Shout, shout, everybody. Cries out to deep, cries out to deep, cries out to deep, cries out to we cry out to, we cry out to Jesus. Deep cries out to deep, cries out to we cry out to deep, cries out to we cry out to, we cry out to Jesus.
Well done, everybody. Now, if we went underwater, what kind of things might we see? How do fishes breathe underwater? What do you see? Any ideas?
When fish breathe underwater, what comes out?
What comes out?
Buddy?
Bubbles! Yeah, so I've got some bubbles. So for the next 2 songs, you can either grab some bubbles to blow so that we can get fish-like, or you can grab some musical instruments and make lots of noise. Do you want to hand these out for me?
Someone's excited about bubbles. Do you
Ben's
want to hand them out
Ben's going to hand the bubbles out for us.
then? Well,
And grown-ups can have bubbles too if you want. And a second packet if you need.
He's our rescuer. He's our rescuer. We are free from sin forevermore. Oh, how sweet the sound! Oh, how great the sound! We will praise the Lord, our rescuer. There is news for the captive. Good news for the sheep. There is good news for the one who walked away. There is good news for the thousand. All religion fails. For the good Lord has come to seek and save. He's our
with me, God is with me, yes, He's with me every step. I know God is with me every step I go. Yes, I know God is with me every step.
With you.
With you, God is with you. Yes, He's with you every step. With you, God is with you. Yes, He's with you every step. I know God is with you every step you go. Yes, I know God is with you every step.
With us.
With us, God is with us. Yes, He's with us every step. With us, God is with us. Yes, He's with us every step. I know God is with us every step we go. Yes, I know God is with us every step.
Yeah, Father God, I thank you that you're with us every step. I thank you when you're with us when we walk, you're with us when we dig deep into you. And I thank you that your presence is with us. Amen. So, Alan's going to come, kids, and he's got a quiz for us that connects to a bear that had a big journey as well.
And something else with them.
And something else.
I thought Ben was going to do this for me. Shame. I'm still offering that way, Ben. No, okay. So good morning, everyone. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas or a lovely New Year. I'm sorry I haven't been around for a little while. Unfortunately, my start to the New Year has not been great. I've been very unwell. So, just as a little bit of excuse, my dad has helped me write this one, so if it goes wrong, it's his fault. If it goes right, it's my credit. So, that's the way it works. Right. Now, I'm going to start off with a few questions, but I'm going to preface it a little bit. See, my dad's found a copy of an old Paddington book a little while ago, and so I've kind of borrowed a bit from Paddington. So in the book, Paddington's going on a quiz show. And the host's a bit taken aback, but the audience really like the fact there's this little bear come on the show. And he's asked some nice, easy questions. Now, there's going to be fabulous cash prizes, see Ben at the end. He doesn't know about this yet. But I'm going to ask you all the questions. There's one in particular, though, I want you to really have a go at. And so, I was going to set up a timer, but I've now got bubbles, so I'll have a few bubbles. There's a little. So first question, Mr. Bear. First question, how many bonds make 5? That's a nice, easy start. So how many bonds make 5? 5. It's 2.5. He shares this with Mr. Gruber. If you've got 5 bonds and there's 2 of you, it's 2.5 each. Well, the host doesn't like this answer, but the audience do. And since it was an easy starter question for not very much money, keep going. Right. So, if it takes 2 men half an hour to fill a bath with water, how long would it take 4 men to fill the same bath? So imagine a man coming along with a bucket of water and pouring it into a bath. If you've got 2 men, it takes half an hour, how long would it take 4?
No time.
No time. Why, Grant?
It's already full.
Correct. It's already full. So the answer the host was expecting was 15 minutes, because you've got twice as many people, half the time. But you are right. The bath is already full. It's the same bath, it's already full of water. It may not be warm anymore, but it's still full of water. Now, this is the one I really, really want you to join in on. It's going to be multiple stages, and I want answers at every stage, and then there's a big final question. So I have a plank of wood, and it's 8 foot long. If I cut that in half, how many bits of wood do I have? 2, good. What if I cut those 2 pieces in half again? How many pieces of wood have I got? 4. Right, and if I do that again, cut those 4 in half, how many pieces of wood have I got? 8. Right. How long are those 8 pieces of wood? Have you already read this, Dan? So most people would go with the answer, and the host expecting the answer, that they will be 1 foot long. Because if you keep on cutting it in half by length, you'll get 1 foot. If you cut it the other way, then you'll get 8 feet. 8 pieces of wood, 8 foot long. They're very thin. You basically got bamboo canes on that point, but you were right, Dad. You kind of ruined my fun there. So, now for one not stolen from a children's book, but from a job interview I attended about 7 years ago. Now, I did get this question right at the job interview, but it took me a lot longer than I dare to admit. And then I got the next question horribly wrong and didn't get the job because I was so nervous. But this is like my first job interview. Right. Let's say I have 3 rucksacks full of marbles. 1 billion marbles in each rucksack. Right, just a big number. One of them is full of green marbles. One is full of red marbles, and one of them has a mixture of green and red marbles. But I don't know how many of each there are in the rucksack, it's just whatever I have left. I've just shoved them in there. But now after I filled them, I've put labels on them. So the one with red marbles in says red. The one with green marbles says green, and the one with a mixture says mixture. So that's all well and good, right? But then Russell comes along. He sees these rucksacks with the labels on, peels the labels off, makes sure they're all swapped around. No rucksack has the same label it started with. How many marbles would I have to pull out in total to get the correct labels on each bag again? I will give you 3 blows of bubbles to do this. And then I want answers. So you've got 3 bags, 3 labels, all wrong. One is filled with green marbles, one is filled with red marbles, and one has an unknown mixture of green and red. You have 3 bubbles. Weird timing. Timing. 1 bubble.
None for the red and green.
12.
Right, we'll start this off like an auction, but going in reverse. Anybody got 10 or less? Anybody think 10 or less? Okay. 9 or less? 8 or less? 5 or less? Right. Who thinks they've got the lowest number then? Dan, how many do you think? You had your hand up the whole way through?
None for the green and the red because I can see them. And probably none for the mixture because I can see that there's a mixture in them.
Okay. Interesting idea, not quite right. Because what if there's like 999,999,999 red balls in the mixture and only 1 green buried right at the bottom? You wouldn't be able to see it. So then you
No, but if I knew there was 3 labels and one said red and one said green and one said mixture, I would go with my gut that that is
Fair.
probably the red one.
Maybe. And there's a better answer than that, I'm afraid to say.
Go on.
Right, anybody got 1 as the answer? Because that is the answer. That's why I'm asking. So 1 ball to completely confirm it. How does that work then? So you've got the 3 rucksacks, and one of them says mixture, and you know it's not. You take a marble out of that bag, you know whatever one that is that colour. So it's green, you know that bag is green. You then know that the green one is something else. But it can't be the mixture, they've not been swapped, they're all different. So you've got three, you can't just swap two of them around and then have one the same. So that means that that one is the red bag, and the red one is the mixture. Does that make sense? I would do this practically, but I didn't have time to get 1 billion of each colour marble. I did ask Pete this morning, he didn't have them on hand, unfortunately. I didn't give him notice, to be fair, I just kind of walked up to Pete and said, Pete, have you got 3 rucksacks, 3 billion marbles of like 2 colours, split weirdly across them, and then like some labels printed for it? But unfortunately he didn't have time. So if you've got a mixed bag, you know that it's not mixed. So you take that colour out, you know what colour it is, and then you know that the other two, they can't be what it says on them at all. It's not a case of swapping the 2 labels, they all move along one. That makes sense. Right, so Ben, I don't know how much money you're out of on the first set of questions. Dan got the £500 question right, so you're a little bit out of luck on that one. See him at the end. Right, but kids, thank you very much for joining in. And I will let you go out now. Would you like to say a word to the children, Sarah? You got one for that?
Do you want to pray for them as they go?
Okay, so I've not prepared a prayer for the children because I didn't really think of this. So just hope that the children learn this morning, have fun, be in God's presence, and we'll see them in a little while for our shared lunch as well. Are you looking forward to the lunch, Ben? Ben? You looking forward to the lunch? Good. So that is the correct answer.
I'm looking forward.
And again, that's the £500 question, so see Ben at the end as well. Right, okay. So as the children go out, we should move on to why I've been asking you very strange questions lifted from Paddington stories that were published long before I was born. Okay, so why do you think I may have asked such odd questions, which required slightly creative answers in some ways? Well, it's talking about the idea of open-mindedness, having an open mind. We're going to look in what that really means and how it works with Christianity, because it's a bit of a controversial topic looking around on the internet about this. When we're young, everything is new and exciting. We're learning new things every day. We're being taught, we're exploring, experimenting through play and all kinds of other things. I've seen this a lot over the Christmas period. Little James, he's coming up to 2 years old now, and everything he has to explore it, and he's also incredibly demanding. I walk in through my brother's door, coat off now! Slight issue, I don't wear a coat. But, never mind. We grow older though, we're more likely to kind of fall in with what we've seen in society, everything we've seen around us. We've learned our behaviours already at that point. We don't tend to think outside the box anymore. I mean, with the 8-foot plank of wood, other than the fact that Dan got it right, which kind of ruins my point a little bit, most people would think you've got 8 1-foot planks at that point. And that's certainly what the quiz show host was after. That was the answer that was prescribed. The Paddington books, though, actually, thinking back on them, they're mainly written for kids, but they do poke fun at adults in a few ways in this as well. See, life depends on problem solving. If we try to solve those problems, we need to think around them. Sometimes we need to try something new and different. We need to have a bit of an open mind about it. But as I said, it's a rather controversial topic in certain religions, and basically all religions it's quite controversial looking it up. And that's largely coming though from an outsider's perspective. See, quite often, when I've spoken to people, they would chastise me for thinking, well, you're a bit closed-minded if you believe something. Using it as like an attack, an insult. But it's rather ironic, in my opinion, if they're saying that. See, it's showing level to the adherence of what is taught in the Bible, or other religious texts, depending on the religion involved. See, the thing is, though, that most people try using this argument. They're being very closed-minded. They've never even considered what is within those texts. They've never read the Bible. They've never read a single word of it, never attended a church service, most of the time. See, they're just parroting what somebody else has told them to say most of the time. They've never put any thought into it themselves. They've been very closed-minded on this. But what about what I actually said, I was going to talk about, is being open-minded rather than being closed-minded. It's easy enough to say that I exist. I'm standing here droning on at you with a microphone, or blowing bubbles at you. Sorry. You know, I also might well swipe the last biscuit from right under your nose in the coffee shop. You know I'm real because that biscuit is not there anymore. It's easy to say that I exist. Everybody will say I exist. It's much harder when you don't have, obviously, somebody standing in front of you saying, hi, I exist, kind of thing. But there's plenty of evidence that God exists. It's not the same as me standing there with a big sign saying hello. It's through all kinds of other things over thousands of years. You've got answered prayers, you've got miracles, you've got the word in the Bible, you've got people understanding things they should have no knowledge of all the way through. You've got all kinds of different signs. But people will sometimes just pass them off as coincidences because they're not really looking. I mean, how many coincidences does it take, though, before you actually start to believe in something? Let's go to Luke 24, 44 to 45. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "These are my words that I spoke to you while I was still with you. That everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures. See, being open-minded is very important. On the evening of the day of Christ's resurrection, Jesus revealed himself to a couple of travellers on the road to Emmaus from Jerusalem. Don't quote me on pronunciation, I'm terrible at that. Upon the discovery of it being the risen Christ, they immediately returned to Jerusalem to find the apostles and tell them. If you want to confirm something, it's best to go to an expert in the field, really. As they told the disciples what they had seen and been told on the road, and how Jesus was known to them in the breaking of the bread, he appeared before them, showing his hands and his feet, even eating with them, Luke 24, 33 to 40. But in the light of such evidence, there was still disbelief, 24:41. So what is it about open-mindedness that's so important? Well, it's less being open-minded, it's more being made open-minded to understand the scriptures. Luke 24:45, again. And then according to the Romans 10:17, faith comes from hearing and hearing through the word of Christ. You need to be open to that word to really get your faith up. But we also need to be wary of being open-minded to more malevolent ideas that take you from the right path. Matthew 7:1 declares, "Judge not that you be not judged." But bad understanding of this would allow one to be open and accepting of any form of sin and depravity rather than just stopping you from making judgments over everyone else and ignoring your own shortcomings. But what can an open mind do for you, though? Well, first of all, it allows us to learn and grow. Viewing and considering other viewpoints. See, recently there's been a huge focus on fossil fuels yet again, and how to replace them. I had a chat with somebody online about this recently, and he said we just needed to shut down all coal, oil, and gas power stations straight away. And I said, right, that's a good final step, but how do you do that? We just do it. Okay, you've kind of skipped ahead a little bit there. I mean, you're saying this on the internet. If we take away all the power stations, you're not going to be able to tell me this over the internet. Blocked. Okay. Much like chess, we really need to consider further ahead than many closed-minded people seem willing to do so. I was walking through York last Saturday. There were a lot of people blocking off one of the side streets with their little protest thing. And if you asked them a question, they ignored you. And it's quite disappointing, because I feel like they had an idea, they had a point to discuss, but they weren't willing to actually discuss it. They were very closed, they were very set in their ways. It doesn't just mean accepting everything in front of you being open-minded. It's being willing to look into and listen to things and make a judgment. When somebody sins, if you are closed-minded to that, you're just going to either condemn them or accept what they've done. Surely it's better to understand why they've done what they've done and see if there's a way to work around it and make sure it doesn't happen again. If somebody steals food, it's because they're hungry. You need to consider that. Then maybe you can find a way to help them. Then they won't do it again. Open-mindedness as well allows us to find new opportunities. One of my big hobbies, I am very, very into films. Certain snobbishness from people, they don't watch films from either the newer generation or the older generations. A long time ago, though, I started watching a few films from back when my dad was a kid. And I've actually found several of my favourite films from those bygone eras that a lot of people my age wouldn't even consider at the time. And I've also started watching a lot of things that were originally done in foreign languages and translated. Now, some of them are really, really good. Sometimes the translations are terrible, but never mind. I'll come back to this idea though in a moment of open to new experiences. Having an open mind, though, can also boost creativity and confidence. So, as many of you may know, I've got a doctorate in chemistry. When I started my research, my funders approached me at a conference, and they told me what they thought I should be doing in the lab, what they wanted me to do. None of them were chemists, they were all physicists. They told me an idea, and I had belief that it wouldn't work, but I thought, well, if they're telling me to do it, I've got to do it. And I have to do it. And I wasted 6 months trying to do that. And I was right, nothing worked. So I eventually turned around and came up with something completely on my own. Spent 2 weeks doing that, and had years' worth of results to work off for that. I felt really good about that, actually, that I'd beaten the people who pay my salary, and it actually worked. I didn't just stick with what I'd been told to do, I thought around the problem. I was open-minded to other solutions. I chatted with other people in my lab, came up with an eventual solution. It worked. Not only was I able to get my results done as well, though, that freed up a lot of time for me to help other people with their work. I was always there to answer questions if they had any ideas and help them out. So whether that be master's students or other PhD students or even postdoctoral students. also can gain some humility though from being open-minded. I mean, right after I finished my PhD, I moved to All Sages, and I ended up taking a job down at the Manor House. With a PhD in chemistry, being a hotel barman on minimum wage wasn't exactly what I envisaged. But I took it because I needed to do it, and I was open to taking something completely out of my comfort zone. Now, I won't say it was always the greatest job in the world. There were hard times, there were good times, but I have many happy memories of some of the people I've worked with. Plus, also, it was good, rewarding physical work, and I actually got in shape for a while, which hasn't stayed since moving into teaching and then into the industry. Unfortunately, New Year's resolution. Hopefully, we can work on that. But my story, though, it really pales into the one which you will all know. When Jesus, the Son of God, washed the feet of his disciples, I can only offer so much. But let's consider one more verse. Ephesians 1:18 speaks of the eyes of your understanding being enlightened. Much people may be closed-minded towards God. He isn't towards them. Many people, sadly, have given up or never even started to believe in the Lord. But he's never given up on them. He offers redemption, salvation to those who open their hearts and minds to him. As much as we need to be wary of influences from more nefarious quarters trying to get into an open mind, if we close ourselves off too much, we actually block out the message. And if we block out the message, we also block out miracles, answer prayers, and we block out God in our own salvation. Let me take my example in life. When I was younger, I studied the three sciences all the time, and everything was concerned, surrounded by others who were very much in the same vein. Even from midway through secondary school, I was like 14 or 15. There was the certain stereotype around scientists all being atheists and not believing in God, and that does unfortunately have a root in reality. And many of those I was surrounded with, they were very much in that mould. They were big fans of people like Richard Dawkins, The God Delusion, and Selfish Gene, and things like that. But I remember though, I sat and had a chat with two of the other lads who were towards the top of my year at school, and I was surprised to find that they had a very strong faith. It's like, but you're scientists. Yeah. And you believe in God. Yeah. And I was a bit surprised by that, because I was young and closed-minded actually at the time. As I got a bit older though, I started having a few more experiences in my life. Not all of them good, not all of them bad. But I still found myself mainly surrounded by more scientists and more atheists, all the way through my PhD and things like that. But I actually found myself opening up more and more. Went on holiday a number of years ago now, and it was in an old church that had been converted into a holiday home. So naturally, a lot of the books they'd left behind were religious things, whether it was prayer books or the Bible itself. And so I sat there and I started reading through the Gospels on this holiday. And I found myself opening up to the message more and more. And after not much longer, I ended up moving here to All Sages, where I started working at a coffee shop. And I had a chat with people, basically every week. And I started coming along on Sundays. And I've been here basically ever since, other than when I've been off sick. So it's quite remarkable that I opened myself up to the message, and the impact it's had on my life has been incredible. I'm so much better off because I opened my mind to the scriptures, because I opened my mind to God, I opened my heart to the Lord. Just to finish off though, because I always cut this way too short, one last reason to be open-minded. Bring and share lunch today, and people have brought food, so give it a try. I shall come back.
Let's just respond to that by grabbing a few people around you and just spending a little bit of time praying for people to be open-minded to Jesus this year. We have people coming in all the time, like Alan did, into the coffee shop, volunteering and serving and coming to have food. And we have lots of other outreaches as well. So let's just spend a few minutes just praying for people to have open minds and open hearts to Jesus. Okay?
of worship now. I just invite you as we sing these songs together, just feel free to respond however you feel you need to with God. I think Alan was talking that it's easy for us to block God out, but He doesn't block us out. And I just encourage you this morning just to open your hearts to Jesus. Open your minds this morning as we just worship Him. Father God, we just invite you to speak to us this morning. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. You're welcome here this morning. We just open our hearts and our minds to you, Father.
Come you would take my place, that you would bear my cross, that I would learn your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I'm thankful for all that you've done for me. Who brings the chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King above all kings. Who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of his brilliance. The King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love. That you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You would lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
Worthy is the Lamb.
Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain.